Hi, this is Kit, and I made a child-sized cloth mask for my children to wear that's a little bit smaller than the adult-sized version, which you see right here. I'm linking to that pattern in my notes on this video. The first thing that you want to do is cut out the main section of fabric. So for this pattern, it will be 7 inches in width across the face. So I'm cutting out that 7 inches right now. And then you're also going to need some 1.5 inch strips, at least 36 inches long for kids. This is actually 40 inches long as well. So once you have the strips made, you can cut out the rest of the cloth base, which is going to be 6 inches. So you're going to end up with a square of fabric that is 6 inches by 7 inches. Oh, and I should also mention that this is double fabric. So there's two sheets of fabric right next to each other here. Now the other thing that you're going to need is short sections of 1.5 inch fabric, and you could use the ends of the ties to get that. Well, you'll see that in the next step. So what I'm doing right here is I'm helping to mark out what I've marked on the fabric, which is the areas for pleating. So you're going to have pleats end up with 4 pleats. You'll start the first one 1 inch away. So you'll mark out 1 inch. You'll mark out another inch section. You'll mark out a 1/2 inch, then another inch, then a 1/2 inch, then another inch. So you'll have these pleats go into the fabric, and this is what's going to allow the mask to close over the mouth. And this again follows the adult pattern, just with a little bit of a change in the sizing. Oh, excuse me, it's 3 pleats, not 4 pleats. So I have those pleats pinned in, which that's imperative for this. And now here you see that little kind of the ends of my fabric I have sectioned out. So this is 1.5 inch in width, and I'm basically making my own bias tape for this. So if you know what bias tape is and you have some, you can just deploy the bias tape and cover the ends with that and sew it on. But I just have a lot of scrap fabric around here, so I'm making my own bias tape, which is what, again, that pattern shows that I have linked in my video. So I'm secured one end of the fabric. I curled it around the side, so I'm encasing the raw edge of the mask so it won't fray in the wash over time. So the bias tape is really just protecting the integrity of your cloth mask if you do plan to wear it. So you're going to do that for both sides, which you can see here. And then you need to move on to the actual straps. So again, you need at least 36 inches of 1.5 inch fabric strips. You need to match up the center of the strap with the center of the mask so that your ties reach the same length, so you're not dealing with different length ties. Then again, this is like your own bias tape, so you're securing one side of the of this strap to the cloth mask, so you're lining it up on the raw edge, and I am sewing a 1/4 inch for all of this bias tape work with that 1.5 inch fabric. That works out pretty well to wrap around and encase. And if you like to iron, you could actually pre-iron your bias tape, but I cannot stand ironing. It's one of my least favorite things to do. And so I'm just manually folding it as I go. So again, I folded that bias tape around the raw edge, so it's now encased nicely, and then I'm going to stitch it so that it is secured down. So with the strap, you can see I'm going to just kind of roll as I go, roll it over so it's encased that raw edge. And then once you get to the end, you need to so you'll roll that edge when you get there and just continue sewing on. So when you get to the end, you're going to secure the end, and it's hard to see in this take, so I'm going to show you what happens to the other side. So you get to the end that you didn't secure yet. You can see that open fabric is still there. So you return to the mask, and this time I'm going to lock in my stitches by back stitching a little bit. And then you can see again, I'm rolling that bias tape to create that strap to make sure it's all secured. It's not going to fray in the wash. So, and then when you get to the end, which will be coming up here momentarily, you're actually going to fold up the raw end a little bit right there. And then you're going to fold it again. So you have this little sandwich of all of the raw edges happening in this strap. And then you get to the end, back stitch a little bit to secure them, and then cut loose all your threads. Now this is just one of the ties. You'll need to do the exact same thing on the other side. You can see everything is locked in. All of my raw edges are covered up. And so here is the best photo I could get of my youngest in this mask. He did not want it on his face, so it's not secured super well. But this is the same pattern for my youngest daughter, who's 5. So it fits her quite well, and actually fits my 7-year-old and even my 11-year-old pretty well. So it's been really helpful to have. Not that the kids are leaving the house very much, but I wanted to have it just in case. And we took kind of funny Easter pictures in the masks as well. So hopefully this is helpful to someone. Cheers.